Welcome to our Education on Air meeting, and I'd like to introduce today's presenter, Donna Toiber. She's the team leader for technology integration in Richland School District 2 in Columbia, South Carolina. Donna is National Board Certified Teacher, Google Certified Teacher, and Google Education Trainer. She co-leads the Google Educator Group for South Carolina and is actively involved in professional learning networks. Today, Donna is going to share with us lessons learned about innovation from Richland Two's Innovation Incubator. R2 Innovates employs teams of staff members to implement innovative practices in Richland Two by providing mentoring and support.
Well, thank you, Anna. It's great to see you today and have you here as our moderator. And I also would like to introduce some of our special guests. We have Rachel Mongen, who is from Sandlapper Elementary School and works with Project Castle. And we have Tammy Linker, who is from Blythewood High School and is a technology and learning coach who works with a lot of great innovations, including Rec That PD. So today we're going to get started, and I've got a presentation that I'm going to share with you right now. And we're going to talk a little bit about what we do in Richland 2 for innovation. We decided about 2 years ago to have an innovation incubator so that we could really inspire teachers and other faculty members for innovative practices, and all for the betterment of education for our students. So we're very excited to have a few of our innovators here today to also share. One second with the tech. There we go. So I went swimming this morning, and sometimes when you go swimming, you think, wow, I'm just going to have to jump in. And so I did. I jumped in, and I started a few years ago with swimming and jumping into the water. But I looked around and I saw all these crazy signs: no lifeguard on duty, swim at your own risk. And to me, that's what innovation really means. Being able to jump in, to take some risk, to make some progress, and to see really great things happen. And so when I go swimming, I have some friends there, and there's one guy I call Snorkel Bob. And I call Bob Snorkel Bob because he comes with this huge bag of different kinds of swim items. He's got floats, and he's got fins, and he's got a snorkel, and all of these things are designed to make it more of a challenge for him. And so he is just the kind of guy I love because he's always trying to push the limits and to challenge himself more, and that is really what innovation is about. Integration is just doing some of the things maybe we've done before in a slightly different way, but innovation is jumping all in and getting some work done. So today we're going to tell you about some of the projects that we have in Richland to move forward with innovative practices. So here's a kind of shocking statistic. Once a teacher has been teaching for about a year, 15% of them will not come back after the first year. 50% of teachers quit within the first 5 years because there really isn't someone there to throw them that float, to help them stay above the water, and they feel like they're drowning. So on a typical day, you all know this, we have students who come from all over whose basic needs may not be met at home. We have standardized testing to prepare for. It's really a lot going on these days with preparing our students for standardized testing. We don't have time to plan. And then on top of that, people bring in technology, and a lot of times teachers will say, I can't do it all. I can't integrate everything. So we want our students to be successful, but it's really very difficult sometimes. It's like having that bar and having weights continually added onto it until at some point you just can't handle it anymore. And the technology does become an add-on. And when technology is an add-on, we all know that the technology is not going to be used in the best way possible. So we need to innovate with the technology and not just integrate it into our existing structure. To be successful, we've really got to empower everyone in our organization to lead these grassroots efforts. I was at a principal meeting the other day, and Rachel will like to hear this. The principal came up and said, The teachers at my school who are innovating and are trying some new things have changed everything for our students, and they have energized the entire faculty. So I wanted for just a minute to allow, I'm going to show you Rachel, and Rachel is going to talk a little bit about some of the things that she's been doing with her students with Project Castle. Hi, Rachel.
Hello. Well, we started with a concept that's, it sounds simple, but it's really not, especially for an elementary school teacher. And a few teachers that with me decided to give the concept back to our children by launching a program that was completely focused on passion-based learning and fostering passion-based learning with children by pairing them with mentors from the community and from other schools to empower them to pursue their dreams and make school a place where you can achieve anything, really put our money where our mouth is, so to speak. So Project Castle, we gave our children this freedom and this empowerment, and it was amazing what they decided to do with it. We worked on a service learning project we called Project Africa, where the goal was to raise awareness for the water crisis in underprivileged countries in Africa and help those countries receive what they needed through local charities. So the students completely planned their own projects and designed their own work to make that happen. The two young ladies you see in the photo there, they helped me plan a Project Africa gala, and they created invitations to give out to the community and give out to the school to invite them to a gala where we would present what we've learned and what we were trying to do to help African countries with very little water supply. We had students do everything from create their own businesses where the proceeds went to the project, to students who created claymation films to illustrate the water crisis, to students who created their own music videos and their own songs and composed their own work in using GarageBand, and they had a mentor from the community who was a musician come and help them with the digital recording. We had choreographers and professional dancers come out and teach the students key skills in choreographing a dance. So we paired our children with mentors who could really help them with that. And the results were absolutely phenomenal, and the students realized that they could do anything, and the sky really was the limit. So they started working on some of their own personal projects. We had a student who was concerned about just kindness in the community and in the world, and was concerned about bullying in school. So he designed an anti-bullying campaign that included a website, a Twitter feed, and a school-wide program to encourage children and everyone in the community to deliberately find opportunities to be kind, and he taught our guidance for a month. He went to every classroom and taught guidance during the month of February alongside our guidance counselor.
Rachel, thank you. That is so great to hear. And I've been in the classroom and seen Rachel's students, and they're so engaged. They use a lot of technology, but it's not about the technology. It's really about the passion and following their own interests. So thank you for sharing with us. So a few years ago, many years ago, my husband and I bought a house that was built in the 1960s, and we started to see cracks in the bricks and in the ceiling. And it turned out that the foundation really wasn't very stable. So we wanted to just redecorate, and we didn't want to rebuild anything, but ultimately we had to take care of the foundation. And that's the approach that we're taking in our schools to solve these challenges that we're facing. Innovation is rebuilding, and that's helping us to have great projects like Project Castle, which are rebuilding how we design the classroom. We started the incubator 2 years ago, and we had an application process, and teams were able to pitch their ideas. And then they came to a 2-day design thinking workshop. We have been working with Notosh, and our first year, Ewan McIntosh was great to come in virtually and work with our teams. And they did all of the designing of their projects and prototyping throughout the year. And we've had so many great successes. And this year we have continued. Rachel is part of the team this year. And so we've had some really great things that we want to share with you. So I'm going to go through some of the design thinking process with you today, but I've made it a little bit simpler. So there are a lot of design thinking models out there. You can start, though, with thinking about discovery. And in the discovery phase, this is where you're really digging down and doing some research to find out what information you need to know to make some changes. And then the second part is about developing those ideas to solve the problems. And then the third part, I call it the do it part, is taking action. And I'm going to share some examples from some of our teams that go along with these 3 themes: discover, develop ideas, and just do it. The first theme that I'd like to talk about is just this whole idea of discovery. Teams have to immerse themselves in the problem. They have to do research. In this map that you see, we knew we had a problem with students who didn't have home internet access. And so our maps team, our spatial maps team, got together and they used Google Maps engine to actually plot on the map where the students were living who didn't have internet access. And they added data points, including the test scores of these students, so that we could really dig in and do our research about where we needed to put these smart spots in homes. And that's just one example from a team of just discovery. And this team has actually provided maps to a lot of our students. And you can see in the photo that one of our team members from this year is showing parents how to use the smart spots that we were able to put into homes. And then interview and observe is also a really important part of going in and finding out what's going on. Take some time to observe those around you and how they react to certain situations. Following this interview and observation process, the CISA Puede team talked with parents of our Latino students to find out how schools could help their students from dropping out. A lot of the students had been dropping out of school. So the team actually took to the streets, and I went with them, and we went door to door and we talked with parents. And that process gave us a lot of information about what we need to do to improve communication with these families. So the team has put Nexus 7 tablets in the front reception area of many of our schools, and taught the front desk receptionists how to use the tablets and Google Translate to communicate better with parents when they come in. And they've got many other things that they're trying with the parents to facilitate better communication between the home and the school. But that interview and observation process was really important. Another way to develop some insights is to look at extreme users. And this is, I think, from Tammy's project. By working with a team to brainstorm the different types of customers that our innovation will help, we're able to help see how those extremes can cause us some questions and issues, and then we know how to solve for those questions and issues. And I found that this process works really well when you want to look at making a change and who you're going to impact with that change. So considering all your stakeholders' needs is going to give you some new insight into how to develop ideas for a diverse group of people. The second theme that I want to talk about today, after you've gone through that discovery phase, is this idea of developing big ideas. And this is our team in Silicon Valley looking for some big ideas. But in this phase, teams brainstorm ideas based on everything that they learned in that discovery phase. And lessons from Google have taught us to think big. Google's known for that moonshot thinking, or what they call 10x thinking. The Project X team at Google developed the Google Glass, and they've developed so many other innovations because of this really big thinking that they have. They're working on driverless cars, a contact lens that detects blood sugar levels in diabetics, and all kinds of exciting things are coming. So as you begin to explore what innovation means, you really need to look at Google and other companies that are thinking big to see how this ideation can help your organization. And so to be an innovator, another thing we learned is that you have to hold your ideas lightly. You have to be a problem finder, and then you have to brainstorm all the solutions that you could have for your problem. And the least likely solution may be the best solution. So our team did learn from our mentor, Ewan McIntosh, and we learned that you've got to make people care about your ideas to be successful, because if no one cares, then they're not going to take action with you. And one strategy that our teams used successfully was this whole yes and mindset, being able to build on each other's ideas, and no idea is crazy. So that's how we get to the big ideas. And that's been really helpful to teams like our Google Geeks, which is a group who wanted to create a student help desk in the middle school so that students would be able to help teachers with their Chromebooks. They produced tutorials using Google Apps, and they were really successful after they got past this idea of just thinking initially what they wanted to do. And then the third phase, and the final phase, is this do it phase. So you discover the information, you develop the ideas, and then you just take action. This is a team from Longleaf Middle School, and they wanted to improve their math scores. And so after going through the discovery and the ideation stages, they decided to prototype a blended math learning model using Google Tools. And I think I've got a photo here of the team. They also learned from their failures, and they've now prototyped a strong model that's being shared throughout the district. So their blended model is really going district-wide because they were able to prototype and learn from some of those failures and then make changes. Because each failure will give us more information about how we can move forward and be successful. So you have to think of failure being a waste of time sometimes, but you do need to go through that phase to find out what you could do better. This is the recruit team, and we're really excited about the recruit team this year because they were just realizing that they needed to bring together a lot of different stakeholders, a lot of different opinions, and just remix all the ideas to come up with a solution to get more girls to enter into computer science. So they created the recruit team, and they're now getting girls into coding and signing them up for computer science classes through some clubs that have been really successful. So you have to think about how you can connect and combine a lot of ideas and come up with new solutions, maybe to some of your old problems. And then finally, another idea that is really important in this phase of doing is to be this hurdler, to actually get out there and not let roadblocks get in your way. This is an innovation team from Summit Parkway Middle School, and Jennifer Lanier wanted to create a Creative Commons for her students in the Media Center. And they didn't have a lot of funds, so they just repurposed all of the furniture, and they created something that is so special for the kids. They have some makerspace types of activities there for the students, and the kids are comfortable and they love being there. They even redesigned the Media Center using Google Draw so that they could present those plans to the district office staff. And then this is Miguel. So Rachel was already talking about him. And after you've done those things, after you've gone through the phases of discovery, of coming up with some ideas, of trying those ideas, then you have got to display it and you have got to scale it. And we have had a lot of great things happen with the Rec That PD team this year. And I wanted to go back live, and we're going to let Tammy talk a little bit about what her team has done this year.
Okay, well, our team, we started off with just this quote, if I die, I hope it's during a professional development meeting, because the transition to death would be so subtle, and that was kind of our basis. And we wanted to look at ways that we could make professional development better. And like Donna said, that there was a lot of failing and a lot of reinventing the wheel and reinventing what we were looking for. But we presented our idea, and then I got together with a team of media specialists and a technology and learning coach from another high school, and then we brought together 6 teachers from both of our schools, and we had an innovation incubator provided us with subs and some books and things and some materials, and we also were able to bring in our curriculum specialists from the district, and we kind of just had a great just planning session, and it's been really great to see what's come to pass because of this. All these ideas kind of came into fruition this year, and we went from these big, whole school professional development where I stood at the front of the room and taught an app to coming together in just small groups of 2s and 3s and 4s where they were teacher-led. And I mean, we've done everything that the teachers said they wanted. It's been teacher-led. They've been able to have kind of a personalized plan, and they also asked for gamification of professional development, and Dawn and her team came up with an awesome badge program, and that's been, especially here at the end of the year, this is usually the time when teachers are just sick to death and ready for summer, but they're beating down my door to come in and earn these badges, and so it's made a world of difference at our school.
And it really has been exciting to see the students and how excited they are about their teachers being excited about learning. I think one of her teachers got the first badge this year, the first digital change agent badge.
She hit the highest level, and we've been going in to present to some of the teachers their posters and their badges, and the kids applaud, and some of the kids have said, well, where are our badges? And the idea of displaying and scaling has been really very beneficial to us in our school districts. And so just a little bit more, I'm going to just kind of close out and give you some information, and then we'll take some questions. So you can launch your ideas. You can actually create your own grassroots effort to give people the support they need, give them that lifeline they need so that they can re-energize what they're doing in their classroom. And it's worked really well, and we're really proud of it. We've got our hashtag R2 Innovates listed here, and if you go to our blog, you'll definitely see a lot of resources. So we have a lot of resources that we have used to get this up and running. Game Storming is a book that you probably don't want to miss. It's a great book, and I actually have Ewan's book. It's holding up my mouse right now, how to come up with great ideas and actually make them happen. So there are a lot of resources there that we hope that you'll be able to benefit from. And it's about the community. It's about being able to spread what you're doing throughout the community for our students. And it's been wonderful here for us. It's been a great journey, and we continue to come up with new ways to use the technology in an innovative way, and for it to not just be about integration. And at this time, I think I'll go ahead and ask Anna if she's got any questions from anyone in the audience.
We have several. Let's see. How did you fund the smart spots in the homes?
We actually have just used some of our general funds to supply those smart spots. It's definitely something you could also use grant funds for, or possibly E-rate money. But we're trying to use general funds for that, and to just make it something that we do as we also roll out Chromebooks. We're one-to-one with Chromebooks throughout the district.
Who or which education projects inspired you the most?
So which education project? They're all awesome. I'll let Tammy see if Tammy can, besides her own, if there's something that was inspiring.
I don't know. I mean, like you said, they're all great. I mean, I think the last slide showed the gifted, talented and gifted program, and they're using that as like a GoFundMe sort of campaign for some of their projects. Yes. That's a pretty cool one. And The Spanish one you talked about looks very
Right.
interesting.
So they're all great, and as I said, Rachel's kids one of the students in Rachel's classroom is actually, I think, on her second novel to be published. So these kids are really excited, but we do have our own crowdfunding platform that was created by a team last year.
How many do you usually have apply?
That's a great question. So I think our first year we had about 15 teams apply, and we do ask for people to apply in teams because you can't do it alone. It's like that going into the ocean. You need to have somebody there with a lifeline for you. So we do ask for teams to apply. This year we had about, I think, 12 teams to start, and we do take people through that design process. And sometimes they decide they're not ready to pitch because after they pitch, they have to move really quickly. We do provide them with funding, and we provide them with mentors, and we provide them with a pretty strict timeline so that they have to go through some of these ideas and try out some of the small bets and see what's working and give us some data to see if it's going to work and going to scale and be good for our district. So not all of the teams make it to the final pitches, and then after final pitches we have a smaller group that go forward just because they're at that point where they're ready. But we do have teams that come back the next year. So I think the first year we had 9 teams, and this year we've had 6 teams who have made it through the end of the school year.
Great. Let's see. Did you teach the core subjects during this project time or separately?
So that may be for Rachel, and I'm not sure if Rachel. Yes. Did you teach is Passion separate or is it part of the curriculum?
It was integrated into the curriculum, actually. And what's really key to remember here, this is another reason why you don't just integrate technology, you innovate. This is a perfect example because none of these projects would have been possible without the technology we had. The students needed to Google Hangout with their mentors. They needed their Chromebooks on a constant basis. If something happened to a Chromebook, we were in big trouble. We had to have the technology there. They had so many tools available to us just thanks to Richland School District 2 making that a priority. Just as far as logistics go, another thing that we did to ensure that all of the standards-based content was being taught throughout the Passion Project is we incorporated blended learning. So if there was a standard where we looked at it and said, ooh, it's not really going to fit with what this child is doing and they're not going to catch that with this project we're working on, we would make a what we call a playlist for it, which would be either teacher-made videos or games or reading materials and questions that specifically address that standard so that the student got the standard that they needed and they could continue with the passion-based learning project as part of the curriculum. And then we do integrate our curriculum into the passion-based learning. So when students sit down and plan their projects with us, those standards that they have to learn at that time are incorporated into what they're doing. We ask them, how are you going to meet this standard or meet this goal with your project, with what you want to do? What would you need to think about? What are we going to need to find? So the students plan and design with us, and then we'll even ask them, what kind of mentor do you need in order for this to be successful? Who do we need to contact and reach out to make sure you have the assistance that you need? So it's very hands-on with the children. We don't spend as much time standing up in front of the room and teaching as we used to. Most of our instruction is in small groups or in one-on-one conferences. And while we're having those one-on-one conferences, the students are working on those projects, and then we'll check in with them, do the instruction, do the teaching, work with them on the blended learning, and help them move forward.
That's great. Yes, Rachel's kids are awesome. And I think I'll turn it back over to Anna. We may be at the end of our half hour, but I know that we're happy, all the teams are happy to continue to answer questions that you might have.
I think we just have one more, if you could answer it quickly. During the ideation phase did you find a particular number of group members to be optimal?
So that's a really great question, and I think that we found that there's a good group dynamic when you have a lot of people. So 40 to 50 people is not a problem. You know, having all those teams together and mixing the teams is really beneficial for them. So that's a great question, because even a team that's too small can sometimes just kind of slow down a little bit. They need to get maybe 5 team members we've seen has been really effective, but more than just one person, and definitely bringing groups together to work together.
I think that's all the questions I see on the website.
Well, we just want to thank everybody for joining us, and we want you to go out there and do great things that are innovative in your school district to solve some of the problems that you may have existing, and help teachers out, give them the resources they need, and you're going to see great things from your students. So please touch base with us if you have any questions, and have a great afternoon, evening, morning, whatever time it is where you are. Bye.